I am Curran Bhatia. I am speaking to rising prospect Diego Pacheco. If you haven't heard his name yet, you will. He's 9-0, 7 KOs, only 19 years old, 6'4", super middleweight, so very tall for that division. Signed to Matchroom US. So Diego, let me start with this. Your career was rolling. You had 7 fights in 2019. Of course, you won them all. 1 fight in 2020 in February. And then boom, the pandemic hits. We're all dealing with it, but that must have been tough in terms of your momentum in your boxing career, right?
Yeah, exactly. I felt like I was on a great pace. You know, Fighting real often. I did 7 fights in 2019, and we're planning on doing 6 this year. So I was gonna go February, then April, and then June again. I could have been like 12-0, 13-0 by now. But everything happens for a reason, and we're just patiently waiting for everything to get back. Because of course, our health is the most important thing. Everybody's health is the most important thing.
That's certainly what's important. Obviously, we want everyone to stay safe, but of course, we all want entertainment and boxing, and that's great for the escapism of it all. And hopefully, we're going to see you back in there in the ring soon. So I, of course, have to ask you about that. I saw your Instagram post. It said fight news coming soon. And it said surround yourself with positive energy. So it sounds like you have an announcement coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about your upcoming fight?
Yeah, I can tell you guys just a little bit. I've been training. I've been staying in the gym. This whole pandemic. I've been training real hard because I know everyone misses boxing and everyone wants to see boxing. So I want to come back and I want to put an amazing performance for everybody. So, you guys will see me next month, back in the ring. More details to come soon.
And so next month, it's September now, so that sounds like it'll be in October. Any idea where that fight would be? Any idea who the opponent would be? Anything like that?
No. We don't have no opponent yet. Most likely to be in a card in Mexico.
In Mexico. I know that you started your career in Mexico. You had a few fights over there, so I'm sure you're familiar with that. So you mentioned next month in October, and you said that you were hoping to fight 6 times this year before the pandemic hit. You fought 7 times in 2019. How many times do you think you will be able to fight in 2020?
I have this fight in October, and hopefully we can get one more going before the year ends. So then we can start 2021 on a roll, with get my rhythm back, make sure, all the ring rust is gone and stuff. So, yeah, hopefully we can get this one in October and then one more before the year ends.
And just tell me about how much you must be itching to get back in there. I mean, you had such success coming out the gate, starting your career in late 2018, and then just rolling through people, 9-0, 7 KOs, like we said. And some of those fights, I know that the fights that went decision could have been KOs too. I watched a bunch of your old fights. How much are you itching to get back in there?
Oh, man. I was fighting every other month. I was so used to, that rhythm, fighting one fight, taking a few days off and right back in the gym for my next fight. But, I haven't fought in 7 months now. But, like I said, I feel everything happens for a reason. This break kind of helped me, it finally hit me that I'm a professional boxer, Like everyone tell me like, yo, you're a pro boxer, you're doing this. But it didn't really hit me until this pandemic hit. I'm like, man, I'm really a pro boxer. I'm really 9-0, 7 KOs already. So, I feel like this break kind of helped me a lot. It helped me see things a lot differently. Not just for boxing, in my regular life as well. But yeah, man, I'm itching to be back in the ring. Boxing, is all I know. Boxing is my life. So for me to not be boxing and not be performing and stuff, and not being as active as I was, it kind of did affect me a little bit. But at the same time, I feel like it's gonna make me a better fighter, and this comeback is gonna be great for me, I feel.
That's really interesting. It's almost as if the pandemic allowed you to take a chance to kind of smell the roses, if you will, and take it all in and realize what you have achieved so far. And then, of course, I'm sure it's going to be a great career ahead, only 19 years old. Are you concerned at all about, you've been staying active, you've been staying training, any concerns about A, maybe having a little bit of rust when you get back in there, or B, just the overtraining? You obviously don't want to overtrain for a fight as well.
Yeah, exactly. I was in camp 6 weeks. I was in camp for 6 weeks with David Benavidez for his fight that he just fought. And I felt like those 6 weeks, it was like I was in camp for a fight as well, And I felt like I gained a lot of experience. Before that camp, I did feel a little ring rust when I was sparring, to be honest. All the gyms were closed and stuff, so I wasn't sparring as much as I was used to. So when I did start sparring again, I did feel a little off, but I feel like those 6 weeks training with Benavidez kind of helped me get that rust off. I was sparring 3 times a week, and I got my rhythm back and stuff, and now I'm right here in back in LA, and I just finished doing some rounds with Surdo Ramirez. So and then I felt really good, So I'm happy, and I'm just happy to have my rhythm back and finally have a fight day, to look forward to.
And that was my next question. I know that you've been sparring with David Benavidez. Obviously, he's a top fighter in this game. Another young fighter. I think he's 23 years old. What have you learned from David Benavidez? He's a tall fighter, but you're 6'4" super middleweight. He's not as tall as you are, but he's still like a long, rangy guy. He likes to move forward. What did you learn sparring with David Benavidez?
I learned a lot, man. He's every time you're in there with him, it's gonna be a war for sure. David's a beast. He comes every time he's sparring, every time he's in the ring. He's coming to make a statement. So I feel like what I learned the most was like just I don't know, just going in there and just fighting. It's just a great fighter. He's really good all around.
And we saw his last fight. He had the dominant performance. He got the stoppage against Anguilla, but we all know that he missed weight, losing the title on the scales. What did you think about him losing weight? He said that now he doesn't want to go up to light heavyweight. He wants to stick at super middleweight. Why do you think that happened, that he missed weight?
Honestly, I have no idea. I think maybe the being in the bubble could have affected him. You know how when you're in fight week, you have to be in a bubble and you can't leave like to a gym or like a 24-hour fitness or anything like that. You're just in the hotel the whole time and all you have is a treadmill. And I feel like that's the only thing I could think about that could have affected him. But other than that, I'm not sure what else could have affected him.
Right.
But maybe also the being out of the ring for so long, so many months without being in training camp because of quarantine, that could have been another factor.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Being in quarantine, it throws everything off in terms of people's schedules, their access to the gym. And that could definitely have been a part of what happened. He still got the win. He still has a very bright future ahead. If you were ever to get down the line, you're 19 years old, he's 23 years old. You guys are both right now at super middleweight, but maybe you both would move up. Who knows? Would you ever face David Benavidez in the ring?
Yes, of course. That'd be like that's my goal. I want to get to the top level and fight all these top guys. Like they say, you made it when your rivals. When your idols become your rivals. So yeah, that's the goal. To be up there and compete with all the top guys.
And you mentioned Zurdo Ramirez. He actually moved up recently, I believe, to light heavyweight. So was that when you sparred with him, was that a little bit of sparring with a little bit of a bigger guy at that point?
Yeah, I've been sparring Zurdo since when he was still at 168. I don't feel much difference. I feel it's still the same. Zurdo's always a great boxer, and we always have a great sparring match. We always learn from each other, and I love the work, and he loves the work, and we're gonna keep sparring. These weeks coming up, we're gonna keep working together.
And I heard in an interview in the past, you've called out some names before. You've obviously been mentioned for a lot of fighters at 168, but a fighter a few weight classes down. I've heard you call out Jaime Munguia in the past. Is that still a fight that you want versus Jaime Munguia?
Yeah, I would love to fight all those guys. Jaime Munguia is also a great champion, a great Mexican champion. Two Mexicans line up for a great fight. So, in the future, yeah, I like all those guys, Jaime Munguia, if he does move up, if he ever moves up to 68, because he just moved up to 60. And if he ever moves up to 68, then, that'd be a great fight for me. And I feel like I have the ability, to compete up there with all these guys. So, yeah.
And you've obviously shown that ability so far in your career. You've had highlight reel knockouts. You've beat everyone that they put in front of you. In terms of the champions at super middle, we know Callum Smith, Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders. We know that Canelo Alvarez is in the picture. He's kind of moving up and down in weight, going to different weight classes. Who do you think is at the top of division right now, and who would you want to get a crack at most?
At 168, I feel the top dog is Benavidez. I feel like he's actually, I think he's the youngest, right? Yeah, he's the youngest champion. Oh, not anymore.
Not anymore, yeah.
Title, yeah. But I feel he has the ability to beat everyone at 168, all the champions. I don't know. I would like a chance to fight any of those guys when the time is right. Because, of course, I know I still have a long way to go. I still have a long career ahead of me. So when the time is right, I want to fight all those guys.
And speaking of Canelo Alvarez, obviously, the one of the biggest stars in the sport, if not the biggest. I've spoken to tall fighters before. We mentioned you're 6'4". Sometimes it can be hard for tall fighters to land that big fight because they're just inherently dangerous. And you specifically, you're able to work your length, but you're also able to fight on the inside. So if you fought Canelo, you would have the significant height advantage. I believe he's around 5'9". You're 6'4". Do you think Canelo would ever accept a fight with you?
Possibly. I heard that he said he didn't want to fight any Mexicans. He didn't want to fight any Mexicans the rest of his career. But yeah, what you said is true. Even in like my situation, when I've had opponents before that'll pull out because I'm 6'4". They'll pull out and then we'll have to find another opponent and stuff like that. So it's happened to me before.
And I wanted to ask you a little bit about some of the fights that you had more recently. Back in December, you were on the Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz 2 undercard. That was in Saudi Arabia. And I know that you put on your Instagram, there was a poster of the fight, and you said, you guys don't understand how it feels for me to see myself on a poster. And you really wanted to prove yourself. So you did so by getting the first round knockout. It was a highlight reel knockout. What was that whole experience like, being on the big Saudi Arabia card, going over there for that fight, and then eventually getting the knockout?
Oh yeah, man, it was amazing. When we got the call. I had just fought I think it was 4 weeks before that fight, in the KSI Logan Paul undercard here in LA, and then we got the call stay ready. There's a high possibility that you go to Saudi Arabia for this card. So we were all real excited. Right back to the gym Monday right after the fight. And we stayed ready, and I knew this is, I'm like, this is the time, I got to prove myself. So I made sure I was ready. Me and my team made sure I was ready. And when we went up there, the whole experience was a real nice experience. I felt real grateful for the opportunity they gave me. And I feel like I did a good job. And I showed them that I do belong in these cards and I do belong in this platform,
It was a sensational knockout on a very, very big stage with a lot of eyeballs, of course, because that was a very anticipated main event. And then, of course, the venue in Saudi Arabia. You last fought in February of 2020. That was against Riojas. And that one did go to the decision. But if you watch that fight back in the end of the 6th round, I mean, you basically had him out of there. And in my eyes, it looked like the referee actually was trying to step in there to stop it. Did you want that stoppage at the end of the fight there?
Yeah, I did. Coming into the fight, I wanted to show everybody that, everyone saw I could knock people out. So I wanted to show people that I also could box. I could take a guy to the distance and control every round like I did. And then in the last round, I'm like, man, I can get this guy out of here. Let me get him out of here. But I don't know, if you go back in the 5th round, after the 5th round, when I go to my corner, you could hear I had messed up my hand. Yeah, my index finger knuckle. Yeah, I've had problems with it before, and then I had problems with it in that fight as well. But if you see in the 6th round, I was jabbing the whole time. I wasn't really throwing my right hand as much. And then in the last few seconds, I was like, man, let me just throw his right hand and get this guy out of here. And then I stepped on the gas pedal a little bit, but I just ran out of time. In the last few seconds, you can see the referee trying to jump in there, but it is what it is. We got the win.
And just to follow up on what you just said, I'm guessing the index finger now is okay. You've obviously had plenty of time to rest and heal for the finger, right?
Yeah, exactly. As I'm saying, everything happens for a reason. This quarantine helped me rest my hand, and I came back and my hand was, feeling 100% better. So, yeah, I'm happy about that.
And in the last round, we were talking about the Riojas fight that was in February of this year. I noticed that actually when you heard him, you actually got a smile on your face and you had an awareness about you. I've actually, we mentioned David Benavidez. I've seen him do the same thing. Did you know you hurt your opponent, and was that a little bit of like awareness of yourself, of where you are and what's going on in the ring at that moment?
Yeah, of course. During the fight, he would whisper to me, Real House would whisper to me, like, no, like, I'll catch him and be like, no, like, saying they didn't hurt him. And I know I hurt him with that right hand, so I just smiled at him and like, man, I know that hurt you, and I'm coming for you. Yeah, it was a good experience for me. Going to 6 rounds, I feel like it helped me learn a lot.
And we mentioned that you are, of course, signed to Matchroom US, and we know Eddie Hearn runs Matchroom. I've heard Eddie Hearn speaking with you. I saw a video. There was a clip on YouTube of you guys in the locker room, and he was introducing you to people like Michael Buffer and others. And he said, this kid has fought at middleweight, super middle, and I want him to go up to light heavyweight, maybe even heavyweight. How high do you think you can go up in the weight classes? You're 6'4", like we said.
Oh yeah, I just turned 19 this year, so I feel like my body's still gonna do a lot more growing throughout the year. So, I feel like my prime would be at 68, 175. Everyone tells me that they think I'll go higher. It's even heavyweight. Some people say, like Eddie Hearn said that, and my manager says the same thing, that he thinks I'll end up at heavyweight. But that's the only time will tell. I feel really good at this weight right now where I'm at. So, we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell, and we'll see where I end up.
Yeah, you're still getting your man strength, as we say, only 19 years old. You are signed with Matchroom US, like we said. I believe you're the youngest fighter on the Matchroom US roster. What does that distinction mean to you, being the youngest fighter signed to Matchroom?
It's a great feeling. I'm the youngest, but people, when they hear youngest, they think, oh, this guy, he has a long way to go. He's a kid. But I feel like I'm the youngest, but from all the young guys, I feel I'll be the first one to get to those world titles and get to the contender level and stuff, But I was signed at 17, and it's just great, I feel real blessed, I'm real grateful for the opportunity, and I feel like I'm ready.
And speaking of being blessed and grateful, I read an interview that you did. You said your biggest supporter is your family. So why is your family so important to you in terms of the support system for you in your career?
If it wasn't for my family, I wouldn't be where I am. My dad, I come from a real humble family, and if it weren't for my parents, I would have never even been boxing. I would have never went to all the tournaments I went to if it weren't for the supportive parents that I have. So I just feel like I owe it to him, to give it my all every time. So, that's just my motivation all the time, my family.
And I know that you started boxing at a young age, I believe around 9 years old. You also played basketball for a long time. When you had to make the decision of what to go pro in, basketball or boxing, what went into that decision? Because obviously in basketball, you wouldn't have to get hit in the head, right?
Yeah, of course. I love basketball. I still play basketball here and there. But I've been boxing. When I started playing basketball in high school, I was already a national champion in boxing. I was already ranked #1 in the U.S., ranked #1 in Mexico. So it wasn't really a hard choice. I knew boxing was what I wanted to do, but basketball was just always there. I love basketball. I like to play basketball, but I always knew it was going to be boxing. So it wasn't a hard choice.
Looking forward to your career. There's a long career ahead. We mentioned only 19 years old, undefeated, and of course linked up with a great promoter in Matchroom. What are your goals in the sport? Do you want to be a multi-division champion? Do you want to unify at 68 and then maybe move up? What are you thinking about your overall goals in the sport of boxing?
I just want to unify a division. I want to 68. I know I could be at 68 for a while. So I want to unify, get some titles at 68 and then move up, 75 and do the same thing there. And then if I can, move up again and, just keep being a champion, fighting top guys, only once I get to that world champion level, I want to go against all the top guys,
And when do you think you'll be ready for the world championship level or even like a title eliminator or something like that? When do you think you'll be ready for that type of fight?
I think, beginning of 2022. I think the rest of this year and then all next year, still fighting, getting this experience, and then the following year I think I'll be ready for the title eliminators, for all those things. The little what was called little The smaller titles, like the ones that aren't the world titles, like the
Okay,
NABL, I think, stuff like that.
like a regional title,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like
yeah,
an
yeah.
NABF title or something like that, right?
Exactly. Yes, those
Um,
titles. Yeah.
and do you look at, you are such a young fighter. Do you look at older fighters and say, oh, I really like the way that this specific person did, handled their career, managed their career? Is there any fighters that you want to kind of emulate the path that they took?
Um. No, to be honest, I feel like I'm in my own lane. I'm taking my own journey, taking my own. I'm going the way that I'm going. Let my managers and my team manage me and take me the way they're gonna take me and stuff. So yeah, I just let my managers handle all that. They know what they're doing, so I think I'll be good.
And, people are learning a lot about you now in this interview. And obviously, as you move on in your career, what is something that, if someone doesn't know as much about you, or even your style in the boxing, what do you want people to know about you?
I just want to know, that I'm a hungry young fighter, and I'm coming for everybody. So you guys are gonna hear a lot about me in the next few years. So I just hope you guys support me and follow me throughout my journey.
And you're going to be a tough matchup for anyone who squares off with you. And I'm sure it's going to be a great career ahead. What's the final thing you want to say to your fans and supporters? And also, where can people find you on social media? Where can they follow you?
You guys can follow me on Instagram at Real Diego Pacheco, on Facebook Diego Pacheco, and Twitter Real D Pacheco. And I just want to thank everyone who's going to watch this, and everyone who's supporting me and is going to support me throughout my whole journey. And I just appreciate everybody.
Diego Pacheco, looking forward to your next fight in October. Congratulations on all your success so far, and I'm sure it's a very bright road ahead. I want to thank you so much for the time. Thank you for speaking with me, and I hope that we can continue the conversation as you continue on your journey.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.